Hi-hats are an integral part of any production as they provide balance and interest to your track rhythmically and tonally. But producers and engineers will often overlook this element during the mixing process and simply adjust their volumes and call them mixed. In order for your hats to provide that high-end sizzle and allow that quick rhythmic pace to shine through, you will need to apply a bit more processing to your hats. But what processing needs to be done to your hats to make them stand out in your mix? My name is Daniel with Advato Tuts, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to mix your hi-hats. So let's get into the DAW. In order for our hi-hats to shine through, we're going to need to apply a little bit of processing to tonally shape the hats, as well as give some stereo interest and width to the hats. I have here a drum loop with the hats that we're going to apply processing to. First, let's have a listen to the drum loop. And here are our hats. So first, we're going to apply an EQ to tonally shape the sound. Since hi-hats provide the high-end sizzle, the low frequencies are not going to be needed in the hats. So we can apply low-cut filtering up to around 600 Hz. As the 500 Hz and below does not add any weight and power to our hi-hat sounds. They're just unwanted frequencies that don't contribute to the overall drum mix. What we can also do to our hats now is remove some of the mid-range. Some of the mid-range frequencies also don't add to that high-end sizzle. So when mixing, oftentimes it's important to think about taking away frequencies rather than adding. In turn, taking away frequencies will actually add to the fullness and fatness of your mix. Simply boosting frequencies can take away from this fullness. Around 500 Hz to around 3000 kHz is where we can remove some of the mid-range frequencies that don't contribute to the overall sound. Next, we can apply a little bit of high shelf EQing and boost the high frequencies about a decibel or so. This will add to the high-end sizzle and give our sound that crispness that we're looking for. A little goes a long way here, so around 1.6 decibels will do. So let's have a listen to our hi-hats with and without this EQing. Without. And now with. It's a very subtle difference, but the sound is a little bit less bloated and a little bit crisper in the high frequencies. Now to add stereo interest. To add this stereo interest, I prefer to use a chorus plugin. Any chorus plugin will work here, but I'm going to use Ableton's stock chorus plugin. This chorus plugin will not only add to the stereo imaging of the track by widening the hi-hats, but it will also add some modulation, so there'll be continual movement in the hi-hats. The reason I like applying stereo imaging effects to the hi-hats is that high frequencies are directional, meaning the human ear can understand the positioning of a certain sound a lot easier in the high frequencies than in the low frequencies, meaning the spreading of high frequencies will be more audible for the human ear. It'll appear wider than if we widened the mid-range frequencies. So I'll go ahead and put on this chorus and tone it down to around 23%, 24%. Turn up the feedback to around 10% here. Now let's have a listen to the hats without the chorus. And now with. So as you can hear, the hats are now more stereo spread. And then finally, I'm going to be using sidechain compression on the hats and sidechain the hats to the kick. What this is going to do is duck down the volume of the hi-hats every time the kick plays. This will help strengthen the groove as the main element in our track, the kick, will be coming through. And the hi-hats will be playing off this kick rhythmically. So a little goes a long way here. And for my sidechaining, I'm going to be using Xfer's LFO tool. I'm going to be using the preset number 5 sidechain. And it would turn down the volume of the sidechain to around 50%. Now any sidechain plugin will work here. Any compressor will work here. I've just chose to use LFO tool for this example. So you do not need to have Xfer's LFO tool to sidechain. You can of course use your DAW's stock compressor to accomplish sidechaining to your kick. So let's have a listen to our hats without the sidechain and with. Without. And now with. So you can hear a little bit more of a groove, and this will fit nicely with our kick. So now let's listen to our drum loop with the hat processing and without. Without the hi-hat processing. And now with. As you can hear, the hi-hats now sound more impactful in the mix. They gel a bit better with the drums. There's added stereo interest, as well as providing that crisp high end that we are accustomed to hearing with hi-hats. So the next time you're mixing your drums, make sure you apply some tonal shaping with an EQ, some stereo interest with the chorus, and some sidechain compression with your favorite sidechain tool.